What is fundamental analysis? What does it mean to analyze the fundamentals of the market? What does it mean to analyze the basics of the market? Hello, family, and welcome to yet another educative episode of the Hubs Getting It Right in the Forex Market Tutorials. In today's video, we're going to be looking at fundamental analysis as a type of market or price analysis. So, fundamental analysis is basically the act of evaluating economic indicators in the market, political events, and then what social factors that affect what each and every currency. All right. So with fundamental analysis, we are evaluating economic indicators like gross domestic product or GDP. We are analyzing the inflation rates. We are analyzing employment data. We are analyzing interest rates. Then we move on to what political events like elections, government policies that have been passed on. We are looking at geopolitical tensions like wars. Then we move on to social factors. All right. These social factors involve consumer behavior. We have consumer sentiments as well as what the spending patterns of consumers. Now, someone may ask, why are we analyzing all these things? Its aim is to assess the intrinsic value of currencies by analyzing the various indicators and events that affect the supply and demand of that currency. So, the intrinsic value of the currency is the value of the currency as it is used or as it is needed in the country or the jurisdiction in which the currency is being what used, or the value of the currency in the international market. All right. So the aim of fundamental analysis is to assess the value of what of each currency. For instance, the United States dollar. What is the value of the United States dollar in the current market or in the international market at this time? So this fundamental analysis gives us the data about what? About all these informations. So now when we are able to assess the value of the currency in the international market, it helps us to know the supply and demand of that currency. So now if you're able to know the intrinsic value or the basic value of that currency in the international market, it helps us to know how people need this currency and how this currency is being pushed into the market. So the basic aim of fundamental analysis is to assess the intrinsic value of currencies. The intrinsic value in the sense that the basic value of the currency or the value of the currency as compared to other currencies in the international market, all right? Or how people are demanding this currency and how this currency is being supplied into the market. So basically, the fundamental or the basic analysis helps us to know the supply and demand of what of these currencies. Now, there are many sites from which we can access these kind of informations, all right? Or there are many sites from which we can access the or we can analyze the markets fundamentally. But one that I use, which I'll recommend to you, is forexfactory.com. I repeat, forexfactory.com. So let us move now into my screen and then let's get to understand how we can analyze the fundamentals of these currencies in Forex Factory. So welcome back into my screen. So like I said earlier, the site from which we'll be accessing this data or these market analysis is forexfactory.com. So we have forexfactory.com. All right. So forexfactory.com. Then you hit enter. So when you open forexfactory.com, this is how the interface is going to be looking like. Now, one of the most important thing to look at for when you come onto this site is your time. It is very, very, very important to look out for your time, because if your time is wrong, every other information that you're going to get on this site will be wrong and then you will not be able to use it well. So please follow the arrow on the screen. All right. So we have the time here. Okay. We have the time here. So the time on Forex Factory at this moment is 12:48 p.m. Then you check the time of your device. So it matches with your time, which is 12:48 p.m. I believe you get it. 12:48 p.m. here, 12:48 p.m. here. That is the first thing that you should check whenever you come to this site. Is that okay? Now, if that time is not correct, simply click the time in the site, or click the time in the site, and you see something like this. From here, you can change it to to suit your time or your date and your time at the moment. All right, so you can go here, tap this arrow, then you have a lot of time zones here that you can select. All right, then after that you just click save settings, then it will save it for you. Is that okay? There are so many things on this on this side. but the key or the most important things that you'll be looking at is what I will be taking you through. So the most important thing that we are looking at here in this site is our calendar. All right. So our calendar here. So when you open your calendar, this is what you are going to see. The calendar simply gives you what? The dates. All right. The dates that these events will be released or this news will be released. Then you have the individual dates here. You have the time at which the news will be released. Then we have the currency on which the news is going to be released, like NZD. So the currency on which the news will be released is NZD. Then we have the impact, all right? The impact or the impact that the news is going to have on the currency. I'll come back to this. Then we have the news that will be released. Okay, so this is the news that will be released. There will be a Euro group meeting, there will be a second consumer climate, there's going to be an inflation expectations which is released quarterly. All right. Then we have an M2 money stock which is released yearly. We have an FPI news which is released monthly. Is that okay? So this is the news item that will be released. Then the detail of the news, you can get it from this envelope here. So you just tap on this envelope, then the envelope will open. Then you can read every detail that you need about the news. You can read it here. For instance, the frequency at which the news is going to be released is what? Released monthly, about 13 days after the month ends. Is that okay? Then why traders care. You can read all these things here. Is that okay? So basically that is about it. Then you can now come back here and close. You get it now. Forex factory is in a way that it helps to forecast the news. It states the impacts of the previous news that have been released. Then it now gives us a forecasted news. So the forecast news is what we should be expecting. Is that okay? What we should be expecting. Then after the news is released, the Forex factory now gives us the actual percentage or the actual effect, whether it has increased or it has decreased. That is what it gives us in this actual aspect. So we have the previous, we have the forecast ones here, and then we have what? The actual news or the impact of the news. The actual news impact is released. Now the actual news impact, you can only see it after the news has been released. All right, we can only see it after the news has been released. You get it. Then you have a graph showing how the effect of the news is that okay? So now, for example, let's now go to a typical analysis of a news. Let's say next week. All right, today being 18th, tomorrow Sunday will be 19th. So Monday is 20th, right? So now we come back here, May 2024, we go to 20th. So when we tap on 20th, what will happen is that all the news items that will be released on 20th, we will have it what? Here. All right. We can equally select a time range. Is that okay? We can select a time range from, let's say, like 20th, 21st. We can select a time range 20th, 21st, 22nd to what? Or for the entire week. Okay. So we can select a date range from this date to this date. All right. So let's say we want to select date range from Monday to Friday in the coming week. That will be from 20th to what? To 24th. So we come to what? This tab here. All right. The date tab here. When we tap on it, it is going to open it for us. Is that okay? So from 20th to Friday is 24th. From 20th to 24th. Then we tap apply settings. Then it's going to give us all the news items that will be released from what? From next week. That is from 20th to 24th. I believe you get it. Now, like I said earlier, this is the date, Monday 20th. The time at which the news is going to be released is 11:15 a.m. The news is going to be released on CNY. That is the currency JPY, CHF. These are the currencies on which the news is going to be released. Now, the impact. Let's talk about the impact. This impact, that is like when you see an ash envelope, then means that the news that's going to be released is non-economic. Is that okay? This is clearly a bank holiday, so it's not going to have effect on the currency. All right. Then move on to the yellow envelope. The yellow envelope indicates that the news is going to have a low impact. All right. So a low impact on the currency. Then we have the what? The orange envelope. The orange envelope is what? A medium impact on what? On the currency. So all the news that will be released is going to have a medium impact on the currency. All right. Then we also have the red envelope. The red envelope is saying that it's going to have a high impact on the news. So mostly our targeted envelopes or our targeted news is the orange envelope and the red envelope, and most importantly the red envelope, because that is what is going to increase the volatility in the market. That is what is going to increase what the momentum of price movement. I believe you get it. So on Tuesday, May 21, we are going to have a high impact news on CAC, that is CPI, which is released monthly, or consumer price index. So we can see what the details of what the news from here. So when we tap open details, we say that this measures what change in the price of goods and services purchased by consumers. Do you get it? Now, the usual effect, actual greater than forecast, is good for currency. Frequency of release is released monthly, usually on the third Tuesday after the month ends. Then the next release will be June 25th. After this release, the next release is going to what? June 25th. Is that okay? All right. So you can now see the meaning of what the CPI here, which is consumer price index. I believe you get it. So from here, you can just close. So when you see a news item like this, one thing that I will tell you is that once your technical analysis is correct, trust me, the news will always fall in your favor. Once the technical analysis is correct, the news will always fall in your favor. But when you are trading on a lower time frame, you have to be very careful. All right. When you are trading on the lower time frame, you have to be very careful because the spikes created in the candlesticks by this high impact news and the rest have the movement is very high. You understand? So you can pick your stop loss and then come back. But once your technical analysis is right, you can be able to what to navigate around. The news will always go in your favor. The news will always go in your favor. I've traded countless times with the news going in my favor. All right. So it is possible once your technicals is correct, the news will always go in your favor. So in as much as you check that, okay, is there going to be news or what are these currencies that they are going to be news on, make sure that you get your technical analysis to right. All right. Make sure that you get your technical analysis right. So as we progress and I speak about technical analysis, I'll teach you some key technical analysis strategies that you can use for which the news will not come and pick your stop loss, after which it will move in your direction. So please stay tuned. Make sure that what you subscribe to this channel so that I can be giving you educative informations like this. Like the video, share to friends and colleagues. All right, so enough of the chit chat. So like I said, these are the news items that we'll be expecting. Is that okay? So on Monday, we don't have any high impact news, right? We don't really have any high impact news. So like I said earlier, after the news is released, that is when we see the actual. So the previous one, this is the one that the site has forecasted that would be the impact or would be the percentage increase or decrease. So for example, this one, the previous was 3.45%, an increase, all right? Then the forecast is going to be the same, just like this one. And then look at this one. The previous was what? 1.5%. And the forecast is that it's going to reduce all the way down to 1.0 what? 1%. You understand? So they are forecasting that the effect that it had on the currency previously is going to reduce. I believe you get it. So you can use all these information to help what in your trading, right? So like I said, the key news items that you should be looking at are the high impact news item, all right, or high impact news. When a high impact is expected, that is the red envelopes here. That is what you should be targeting. All right. When you realize that there is a news on what on card, analyze what pairs like USD card, GBP card, analyze those pairs and then what trade. And I repeat, once your technical analysis is correct, bro, it will always go in your favor. Once your technical analysis is correct, it will always go in your favor. Okay, so thank you for staying to the end of the video. Like I said earlier, if you like this video, please smash the like button, subscribe to this channel, and share to friends and colleagues so that we can all grow together. Join the community and let's learn together and grow together. Thank you so much for staying, and I will see you on the flip side.